This is my story of how I came to live in the city, how I have found peace, and how I've learned to live a quiet life among the bustling noises around me. I'm a bit timid about sharing my story, but I hope that some of you will resonate and find courage. Perhaps you will see elements of yourself in my experiences. Courage and strength are yearned for, dear hearts, and these qualities propel me forward to deeper love, for more quiet, and for more peace among stressful situations around me. I am a storyteller, and I hope that in my story, you will find the freedom to live a life not set by the people around you, by the beauty of spirit and truth. Moving to the city and leaving my family was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I originally came out to St. Louis to attend school, and shortly thereafter met my husband-to-be, and we were married. He is a native of the city. I think I was homesick at the thought of moving before I moved out here, so I know what it is like to long for home. After a brief move back to my small town for us in North Carolina, where I grew up, we lived here in St. Louis since 2012. When I initially came out to St. Louis, one of my aunts lived about 45 minutes from me outside the city. She died of ovarian cancer in her late 40s, which left me feeling lost and alone. We were very close, and I knew I had to learn to carry on. It has taken time, and I've learned how to live a quiet, peaceful life in the city. It has come with beautiful mysteries and learning to walk through uneven paths at times. There has been joy in the quiet, and I have found the solitude and the consistency of the natural world around me great comfort. I lean into the gentle rhythm of the seasons. I'm a person of deep faith and have found solace in knowing I am not alone in this large and, in some places, bustling, busy city. My family lives in the suburb of St. Louis, so I do not live in the city of St. Louis proper. My neighborhood has lots of trees and animals. Birds have become my loyal companions, and from time to time, I enjoy seeing rabbits and even deer with full racks. I have nearby walks on trails, which are a jewel in my quiet tune. The city proper is 15 minutes from me. I realized I needed to live a quiet and peaceful life. I also needed simplicity and to enjoy the small things, which I have found are not very small at all. Life is all around me in abundance, and living in this abundance means embracing the simple invitations of a rainy day, watching the raindrops, feeling the coolness of the air on my face, listening to the creek nearby, and embracing the awakening spring and the chill of winter. I have found that embracing instead of resisting brings a swell of peace. It makes room for peace to dwell, expanding my heart to be able to let go of what isn't working for me any longer. Have a quiet place where peace and quiet have a place to dwell and live within me. Growing up in North Carolina, we moved house a lot. Went to 4 different elementary schools within a 20-minute drive from each other. While we moved our house every 2 to 3 years, we stayed within the same county, which was enough to change school districts. So Making friends and feeling stable was something very uneven for me. I was also a very quiet child. I hardly spoke in class. I was happily quiet, and didn't realize I was so quiet until the adults around me pointed it out. I've always been one who seeks out a small group of friends. I suppose I'm in search of my tribe now, living in the city. When we moved back to St. Louis with our kids, I realized I had to redefine what it meant to live a meaningful life. I loved my parents, siblings, cousins, aunts and uncles, grandma, two best friends. Sadness has a way of sitting. I found that embracing it instead of pushing it away gives it space. Sadness is like the bud of a flower that has for a time petals close. In its own gentle time, the petals open. New air and water sway inward, and the beauty of the flower releases as the gentle sun rests upon it. Time is something that cannot be rushed or pushed. I've learned that sadness takes its own time, and it's okay to be and to let it be so. When I was a young girl, I thought everything would stay the same. Everyone I loved was alive. We had each other as a family. Things change. People move away. People die, grieve, and are sad at loss. It is not for one of us to give weight to someone else's sadness. Not for me to say. It is like a collection of sand on the seashore. Sadness has its time, and so does healing. Things do change, and we can move with the flow. I never thought that I would be living in a big city in the Midwest of the US. I have found and created a quiet life amidst stresses, a family of 3 children, a husband. Our lives feel chaotic and overstressed, yet I have found peace and quiet in uneven times. I've always been a sensitive soul. When I first moved here, I was overwhelmed, even living in the suburbs of St. Louis. Just outside of my school was a 6-lane highway and 2 major hospitals. I had to take 2 highways to get to my aunt's house, 45 minutes away. Driving on the highways was stressful and filled with anxiety because I had been taught to be afraid of driving in a big city growing up. This has been overcome, for which I am grateful. I long for the feeling of the country, for the mountains where I went to college outside of Asheville. To this day, those mountains still bring me an inaudible and indescribable peace deep within my soul. When I moved to St. Louis originally, I wasn't aware of how much one's physical environment affects one's peace and creativity until I got here. All of a sudden, I was in a very flat place. I remember saying to my aunt, "It's really flat here. There's nothing to rest my eyes on." I grew up in the Piedmont of North Carolina, where the mountains are an hour away, and the closest sea was 4.5 hours down a mostly 2-lane interstate that ends at the water. When I returned to St. Louis with my family in 2012, I knew I had to find my own way of comfort and peace. So I began to stretch and open to a deepening of my walk with God. I have leaned and learned over time to lean into living my life as I want to live it, rather than living up to social or societal pressures. I know that I am to find my tribe within this big city. I must be consistently myself. I became aware of my own dearest friend, and that was me. And to let go of all things that were not helping me. I can feel what makes me happy, and I've chosen to do those things even if others sometimes cannot understand or see their significance. Moving into the natural rhythms of my peace, I live each day simply enjoying little things like watching the rain or reading with my dogs, cultivating time for these beautiful moments. This comes with awareness. To have awareness, I must slow down and then slow down some more. Leaning into awareness is an open door. Living a quiet, peaceful life comes with leaning into these beautiful moments around me. I've discovered that living in the suburbs has provided opportunities for me to be more creative and to try new things. Two of the city's gifts, the art museum and the botanical gardens. The art museum, with its quiet walls and beautiful pieces, provides a place for my sense of self to sit and be. We each need places that feed our souls. This is one of those places for me. I find myself reading more and enjoying all the library system here has to offer. I read and watch my favorite TV series and movies. Cups of coffee and tea have a joy all of their own in my being. A kind look and a gentle nod of sunlight across my dining room table through the window softens a part of my soul that can stiffen with the everyday stresses and responsibilities I hold in the palm of my hands each day. I found that learning new skills and seeking opportunities to try new things brings joy. The candles I make and the stories I write continue to move me into spaces of quiet and a quiet life. I hope this video has given you a few moments of peace and hope. I'm not offering solutions or giving answers that can be quick fixes. These are my experiences, and I'm sharing how I live a quiet and peaceful life within my space in the suburbs of a big city. I want to emphasize abundance and walk away from scarcity and living in fear. I'm centering on peace and joy as the components of love. As a storyteller, handler, and creator, I long to encourage all to embrace the light, literally and figuratively, with peace, joy, and a quiet life to follow in due time. Every Wednesday, I will be releasing another video. I hope you will join me.